So today we're going to do a little work for our hips and legs and a little bit for our feet too. I'm just starting by, warming up my hands, loosening up my shoulders a little bit, just to get ready to sort of have relaxed wrists. So as we start to do some of the massage work, we're not straining ourselves. So a little preparation as we begin to relax into our seated position. You could sit cross-legged if you like, or any other way you want. And a few times, inhaling, exhaling. As we exhale, rounding the back, curling the back, inhaling, lengthening. Back and forth a few times for the spine. Then the chest, slowly mobilizing all the back muscles. I'm also trying to feel how my pelvis is rocking on the floor, going a little bit left to right, forward and back, just to feel like I have well-grounded hip bones and my hips are relaxing here. And for the rest, a lot of the rest of this, we're going to go into a wide-legged position. If you find it's very difficult for you because of flexibility, go ahead and put a pillow underneath your bum and lift yourself up, or put even a couple. Just put as many as you need to get comfortable in this position. And you don't have to go very wide, just go where it's comfortable for you. We'll do a little spinal twist in each direction, just gently using your hands to go a bit deeper into the stretch. But again, it's pretty relaxed. We're not trying to do anything particularly vigorous here. Just really preparing the body to go a little bit deeper into our hips. First by relaxing the back. Going to the second side. Taking some deep breaths to come into the space of being very centered and relaxed in our bodies. Now by rocking back and forth, we start to loosen up the hips. If you're able to reach and touch the toe, that's great. Otherwise, you might bend the knees to get a little closer. And then the other alternative would just to be to sit up straight and scan your arm back and forth. This is a good way of warming up the hips and the spine. I'm going to take a deep inhale and feel really lengthen. As you twist, you're drawing from the muscles of the core of the body, and you're pulling yourself down towards the leg. You may not get very far, that's fine, but try to use the strength of your trunk muscles to pull yourself towards the leg, instead of just letting gravity pull you down. Really actively pulling forward, and keeping your back nice and long and straight, and only at the end, when you've reached the end of your stretch, maybe you let the back round just a little bit, but always pulling internally towards the leg. And breathing, of course. Coming out nice and slow. Do the same thing on the other side. Big inhale to feel the spine lengthen. And then we're going to come towards the other leg, trying to keep the back fairly straight and pulling yourself forward. Pulling the leg towards the belly and the belly towards the leg. Nice deep breaths. And we'll release that side. I'm using my hands to roll my hip muscles. So this is a cue to actually relax your hips as much as you can. But it's also rolling the hip joint itself, which is a great way to help loosen up and get deeper into some of these stretches. This hip opening position. What I want to do is take my left hand and press it right down to the root of the femur here, and actually pushing that down and away from me as I stretch to the opposite side. So really big push here. Couple of breaths there. Then the same thing on the other side. You see how close my hand is to the hip bone? I'm trying to get right up into the hip socket and actually push it down and out. Remove any compression from the hip. So the next technique I'm going to use is called the rolling pin. So I start with the soft part of my arm, then I turn my hand face up. I'm going to apply my weight as I put the soft part down, and I'm going to let the arm roll face up. You can get a lot of pressure here just using the weight of your body. And I also want you to notice that I'm rocking continuously through this movement. There's a big effect on the hips as you continue to rock here. If you actually let your whole body move, you're going to be amazed at how much this helps to open up the hips. But of course, you work with your level of flexibility. Maybe you're not going to be able to get as close to the leg as I am. Maybe you'll be able to get closer. Now I'm turning the leg inward so I can get to the outer part, which is pretty sensitive. So just be a little bit judicious about your pressure here, but still get a nice big juicy rolling action up and down the leg. Really just like you're rolling out like a pie crust. You're actually rolling the arm over all the muscles. And you can roll the inside, the outside, the top. Here I'm using a nutcracker movement, interlacing the fingers and squeezing the palms together. So you get a bit of a feeling of picking up the muscles and wringing them out. And you can do this with a bent knee if you're finding it difficult to get to the leg. And again, put more pillows underneath your butt if you're having a little trouble with flexibility. If you practice this often enough, your flexibility will improve. You can also work the calves and the shin, like the front of the shin bone this way too. Let's go ahead and do the other side. First, a rolling pin on the quad muscles here. Very similar to what you do with a foam roller, except the nice thing about this is you're in control of the whole process. And also, the rocking movement helps a lot. You can do this anytime your legs are tired, feeling stiff, you've done a lot of working out, maybe some squatting or a lot of biking, even long walk, run. It's great to juice out your legs a little bit. On the inside, the outside. Don't worry too much about the inner thighs. We'll get that in a different position in just a second. And again, this nutcracker movement. Continuously rocking through the whole process. And you will find that helps relax the hips. And you'll have a very different experience a little bit later than you might have had right at the beginning. Again, you can bend the knee if you're having some trouble getting down to the leg. And you can also squeeze the shin, sort of separating the calf muscles away from the shin bone. So now I'm going to go into a position where my shin and my thigh are parallel, sort of like a Bruce Lee sidekick type of thing. Now I can really get into the inner thigh, and I'm going pretty close to my elbow, but not just at the elbow yet. Again, it's rocking. You might find it's a little trickier to get down to your leg here, depending on your flexibility, but just do what you can do. And I'm going to use my thumbs to, actually, first I'm going to get into this juicy inner quad muscle and go really in with my elbow here. Then I push my elbow in slightly and then bend the arm. And this is pretty intense, so work carefully here. But usually there's a spot right there above the knee joint that is quite sensitive. This is going to be really interesting. All right. So now I'm going to use my thumbs to massage the calf muscles and some of the deeper muscles on the back of the leg. So I'm working in lines up and down. The technique I'm using is I have a thumb placed and then another thumb from the other hand over top of it. And I'm trying to keep my wrist straight. And instead of using my hands here, I'm using my body weight and I'm squeezing with the fingers and rocking into the thumbs. And squeezing and rocking, squeezing and rocking. So I'm really using a lot of my body weight here so I don't fatigue my thumbs. You can make several lines along the calf and then pick up and squeeze the calf muscles to loosen it up. And if you're flexible enough, you can really get in and use your elbow on your calf. This is great, but it does require you to be a little bit more flexible. So don't worry if you can't make it. Just go ahead and keep using your thumbs. So let's do the same thing on the other side. You notice that my legs are really parallel, eh? The shin bone and the thigh bone are parallel here. I haven't got my heel tucked in because then I wouldn't quite get the same angle. And I'm using the rolling pin technique, not dragging, but just rolling over the thigh. Really using my body weight here. You could really spend a lot of time here. I'm not going to spend that much time in the video, but if you want, you can spend a good 15 minutes just doing the thighs and the calves here using different massage techniques. And again, using my elbow up into this really spicy area near the knee. You can even do the thinker and place your hand on top of your hand, your head on top of your hand and let the weight sink in. This is an extra spicy technique. And again, we use the thumb, working on the calf muscles. Explore, find the areas that are really interesting. And again, it's a squeezing movement of the fingers and then rolling down into the thumbs, pressing with the body weight so that you don't strain yourself. Rocking, you sort of get a rhythm going after a while. Of course, through the whole process, we're trying to breathe comfortably, relax the stomach, relax as much of the body as you can, and just allow the hips to open up slowly over time. And again, if you can reach down and roll with your elbows, it's great. If not, no problem. Use the thumbs. You can even take a rubber ball and roll the rubber ball on there if you like, or any other tool that you have. We have a couple options here. This is a butterfly position, really good for the inner thigh. And then you can start to use some thumb massage. I'm just going to do 1 foot at a time because I found that I get a little bit better pressure this way. Similar technique. The thumbs are pressing against each other to support each other like this so that you're not straining your thumbs. And you're rocking and using your body weight, going up and down the lines on the sole of the feet. You'll be able to feel some interesting spots. You also go to this area between the heel and the ankle bone. Another very interesting spot. And we'll go to the other side. Again, you can take your time here. Foot massage is really relaxing and helpful in terms of just feeling the whole leg relax, avoiding any sort of like repetitive use conditions in the heel and the ankle. I'm going to just give myself a little bit of a pounding here, a very loose fist, just gently tapping on the muscles, mostly the quads, the outside edge of the shins. From here, I'm going to do a big hip opener here. So we start in the 90-90 position. Both knees are at 90 degrees here. They're not closer. We tend to want to bring them closer, but really try to get them out to 90 degrees. We're going to fold over the inner thigh of the right leg slowly. Just make it comfortable for you. You're going to come up just as slowly. And now without lifting the right leg off the ground, you're going to see if you can roll the left hip open. It's a very strong stretch, so just do what you can do. You're squeezing both legs out, and now you're going to glue the left leg to the ground as you roll the right leg in. Again, you're in the 90-90 position, and then you fold over the thigh. Take your time. It's a deep stretch. It's going to help you to really have your hips open in a moment. And again, gluing that left leg down, what you can do is roll out the right leg, nice and slow, and then squish both legs out to the side, really using the strength of your hips. And then we're going to do some windshield wipers. You're going to try to basically touch your knee to your opposite foot. And again, everybody's flexibility here is different, so just do what you can. But notice I'm not just rolling both legs to the side. I'm actually trying to bring that knee into the heel. Now finally we'll go to our wide leg position. Nice big inhale, and let's see if we can't fold forward a little bit. Everybody will be different here. We try to keep the chest up so that we're not rounding the back too much. We're going to breathe, slowly work our way forward. And hopefully all of this hip opening will have given you an opportunity to get deeper into this position, if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, just enjoy whatever you've got. Take your time. And we'll slowly walk our way back. Really take your time here. I like to shake my legs as I slowly pull them back in. So there's no sort of sudden shocks here. From here, you can do a forward fold or any other stretches you want to do here. I'm just going to go ahead, bolster up my legs, forget to bolster up my head, and then remember. And then I'm going to take a few moments and just rest. So feel what's going on in your body here. Feel the space between your bones and the ground. And see if you can, breathing slowly, fill in those spaces with your body. Let everything surrender into gravity. Take a little while here. Just check in. How do your legs and hips feel? There might be a little sensation of tingling or some blood flowing around. Maybe you feel quite different. Maybe you found something was really tender and stiff. Whatever it is, as you're breathing, try to just let everything go. Really sink down to the ground. Feel that gravity is reaching up and pulling you down. Breathing in and out through the stomach. Take as long as you want here and just rest.